I refuse to watch this man kiss a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Hello, ChavezzSlovakia. It's nice to have you here. Not gonna explain what I was just talking about. Today we are doing conspiracies. Let me see, Dragon, I'm gonna have you muted for this one. Pegasus, I'm gonna have you muted for this one. Dean, I'm gonna have you muted for this one. Because I'm gonna talk shit to B-Dot the entire video. Rainbow, do you wanna watch this conspiracy video? Okay, well, I like Ed, Edd n Eddy, okay? I enjoy the TV show. I enjoyed the cartoon. The shit was fun for me. And it let me think that I could do dumb shit too and not get in trouble with my parents. And I was wrong. Every single time. Every time I tried a dumb plot, I got my ass whooped for it. And I could thank this show for that. Just like that one time my friend had the idea to steal bracelets and then resell them to the people that we stole them from. He was an idiot. It didn't work well. So this is the conspiracy theory. Ed, Edd n Eddy are dead. So I hope this guy telling me it doesn't make it suck. Is this something I should read or something I should watch a video on?
What's up, guys? It's the John bringing to you a cartoon conspiracy theory about Ed, Edd n Eddy.
You think we're just gonna walk right past the John-gasm? We're not gonna say nothing about that, fam? You're right, I got nothing to say.
This is the one that a lot of people message me about, or I talk to in person.
The John-gasm.
So I figured I'd do it, because it's pretty creepy. The main gist of the theory is that all of the kids in the neighborhood are dead, and the neighborhood itself is purgatory. Now let me explain the theory a little bit. All of the kids in that specific neighborhood in purgatory, in real life. However, they lived in this neighborhood decades apart, the 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. I should also say that the purgatory neighborhood is not based off of the neighborhood that they lived in real life. A couple quick things to mention before I get into every character's backstory. One thing that's really weird is that throughout the entire series we do not see a single adult. We see a vague shadow of one, which never moves, which is kind of weird. And we hear the adults mentioned, but we never actually get to see one. Also, if you look at each of the kids in the neighborhood, they all have very weird pigments to their skin. Example, Ed has yellow skin and a blue tongue. That's weird. Do you know why it's weird? Is because do you know what else has yellow skin and a blue tongue? A corpse. A corpse does. Kind of looks like a corpse is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we got it.
Now, Rolf, the foreign kid that you might remember who had the farm, he died around 1903, or at least in the early 1900s. Rolf and his family had a farm, okay? And on the farm, he had to do chores, because that's what farm kids do. One day when he was tending to the animals, one of the bulls broke out of its cage, and it trampled him to death after he tried to stop it.
Well,
I don't know why he would
terrifying.
try to stop it, but he did. So, in purgatory, Rolf continues farming, and he brought most of the animals with him in spirit, but if you notice, he does not bring any of the cattle, because that's the reason he even got sent there, is because it killed him. Now, you may remember the kid named Johnny. Johnny is the one who had the plank, which I know if you saw Ed, Edd n Eddy, you remember. Because let's face it, Plank was kind of a legend. Now, a couple decades later, specifically in the 1920s, Johnny's family moved onto Rolf's family's land, where Rolf lived. The land was still farmland, however, the family did not tend to it because they weren't farmers. So, unlike Rolf, Johnny didn't have chores to keep him busy. Johnny was a weird kid. He didn't have friends. So, he used his imagination and created his one and only friend, Plank. Eventually, Johnny was diagnosed with tuberculosis and died.
What the
When he died, the only friend he had by his side was
Why does he have
even though there are other
tuberculosis?
kids in the purgatory neighborhood, he continued to play with just Plank by himself because that's what he did when he was alive. Now, Eddy, one of the characters that the show was named after, so I would assume you remembered him, moved on to Johnny's, once Rolf's, land in 1932 with many other families. There was enough farmland that all of the families could invest, split it up, and have their own houses. Eddy was kind of a troublemaker, and he was very imaginative, and he would do whatever he wanted to keep himself entertained, even if it meant he would lose a friend or two. One day, after stealing money from a couple of the neighborhood kids, they chased him, planning to beat him up. While they were chasing him, he dived into a local river where he ended up drowning.
Oh my God!
Now, Ed and his sister Sarah, in the 40s while the war was going on, moved into the neighborhood that was once Eddy's and Rolf's and Johnny's. In World War II, their father died as a soldier, which left their mother alone to raise them. Being that she was alone, she was constantly working to try to make money so she could feed the kids. Because their father died, Sarah did not have a father to look up to, so she mimicked basically everything her mom did. Now, since her mom was always running around, giving out orders and trying to make money, This is what Sarah thought was appropriate, which is why throughout the series she's always trying to let everyone know that she's the one in control. Unlike his sister Sarah, Ed took the opposite approach and basically shut the world out, which gave the impression that he was kind of an idiot because he never paid attention to anything around him. Instead, he got obsessed with comic books and monster movies, which became extremely popular after World War II. Then when the brother and sister were being driven by their mom to visit their grandparents, they got in a car accident and the two died. Then there's the character Nazz.
Okay, so I get now, so now what I understand is in this theory, the way the people are dying is kind of like arbitrary. Like it's just kind of like there's something that's convenient that makes them die. But everything else that they're doing, trying to link everything together to make the theory make sense, right?
Yeah.
So the focus isn't on the fact that whether or not you can prove whether or not they died in a car crash, but it's just giving them a reason to be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Because I was really confused up until that point. That
direct tuberculosis. You have no idea.
Right. Yeah, there's no reason for him to have tuberculosis, but it would give a reason why he would be kind of a loner, really weird, have an imaginary friend, not be able to communicate with other kids and stuff like that. Got it.
Nazz. I don't actually know how to pronounce her name, so I'm going to call her Nazz.
Is it Nazz or Nazz? If it's Nazz like the rapper, or Nazz like, well, like Nazz.
Was born to hippie parents. She was blonde and she was beautiful and she always had a way with the boys in the neighborhood. Unfortunately, in the summer of '79, a serial killer broke loose out of an insane asylum, went inside their house, raped Nazz, killed her along with the rest of her family. She handled this with
so fun.
Right. Okay. So serial killer raped this cartoon character. Please don't. We don't need to do this.
Similar to the way Ed handled his life, where she just shut everything out and she forgot all about it. This is why in Purgatory she never has to take any orders from her parents and always has free time to party and hang out because she doesn't have anyone to boss her around. Now Ed, Double D, was kind of a nerd when he was growing up, obviously. His parents were highly professional business workers.
B-Dot. Yep.
I am more Eddy than I am fucking Double D, by far.
Yeah.
They were never really around
Definitely
when he was
true.
a kid, but they still managed to always control him. Instead of going out and
Wear your seatbelt, you dead bastard.
exercising and being physical, he stayed in his room, studied, and he often did experiments. Unfortunately, the experiments is what
We don't need to watch this.
eventually the experiments. Unfortunately, the experiments was what caused his death. There was a gas leak in his house one day when he was doing an experiment with a Bunsen burner.
Right.
And if you know what a Bunsen burner is, it has a little to do with fire.
Have no idea what a Bunsen burner is. Please inform me.
When the fire from the Bunsen burner met up with the gas leak, the house exploded, killing him. Being that when he was alive, he let his parents dominate his entire life despite never being around, he continued this in Purgatory.
Wow.
His parents were never in Purgatory, but he only did things that he knew would not upset them. Now, Kevin, the bully in the neighborhood, was born the day after Double D died.
Did he also
Kevin's
get raped?
father was an alcoholic and often beat him regularly, which
close.
Okay. Alcoholic father abusing him. That's close enough for me. I think I'm good.
Take his anger issues aside. In Purgatory, his father is a distant figure, unlike in real life, and he's constantly...
Nico just messaged me and said Bunsen burners are tiny stoves. Nico, I know what a Bunsen burner is. I'm joking because he didn't have to explain what a Bunsen burner is. We all know what Bunsen burners are. Right? But I'm glad that you told me they're tiny stoves, because that is the best fucking way to explain it I've ever heard in my life. Jesus Christ. You guys are fucking amazing, dude.
Instead of being beaten. Unfortunately, he continued his bullying ways into Purgatory. Two more things. Are you still with me? I'm going to try to say them quick. Now, Jimmy, the little boy...
This is not so confusing that we need you to speed this up. It's fine. This is a very moderate pace.
Two more things. Are you still with me? I'm going to try to say them quick. Now, Jimmy, the little boy with the headgear, died around the year 2000.
Okay.
Jimmy had leukemia, and his parents were afraid to let him play with the other children in the neighborhood because they didn't want him to get hurt. Jimmy was depressed and was on his deathbed for an extremely long time before eventually dying in his room in 2000. Now,
and what they thought was important while he was dying? Fix your fucking teeth, you ugly bastard. Like, my child has leukemia. You better get your goddamn teeth fixed. That's what I want you to feel. Go to the dentist and fix your fucking teeth.
Kanker sisters, everyone's least favorite characters. Unlike the rest of the kids in the neighborhood, the Kanker sisters are demons. Now, before you think that's really stupid, just listen to it. The whole purpose to the...
I hate to break this to you, but I think this whole thing is stupid. So you can just say whatever you want right now. I'm in it, man.
Kanker sisters' existence is to drive everyone around the neighborhood crazy. The reason that they're so attracted to Ed, and Eddy is because they're the weakest kids in the neighborhood, meaning that they're the easiest to torture. The Kanker sisters also possess unnatural abilities, unlike the other kids in Purgatory, and are able to be anywhere at any time. Seems kind of demonic, doesn't it? Also, unlike the rest of the kids, they have normal colored skin and pink tongues. The reason they had pink tongues is because they weren't humans, which meant they didn't have to die to go to Purgatory. Since they were never corpses, as a result, their tongues stayed pink, unlike the other kids in the neighborhood where their tongues were all blue and green and other colors. Now, one more thing, I promise.
Okay,
there is an episode in the series where Ed, and Eddy meet Eddy's brother. Now, when the characters do meet him, you see his personality as being kind of a douchebag. In order to visit Eddy's brother, they had to leave Purgatory, which means they possibly left the neighborhood to go to hell, which is where his brother was, being that he is such a douchebag. Now that's just...
You hear it here. John Gasm says all douchebags go to hell. So don't be a douchebag. And, you know, brush your teeth. If you have leukemia, go to the dentist. And, yeah.
But yeah, that's basically the theory. There's nothing more that I could really add to it. I hope it didn't completely ruin your childhood, unless the Rugrats theory already did that. Make sure you rate so I know if you liked the video.
Childhood is completely ruined. B-Dot?
Hey. I remember this being better, alright? I remember this being better.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense when you do put it all together, okay? I mean, I think it's got a pretty good foundation, and I think, oddly enough, the deeper you get into it, the more it seems to make sense. From a real honest standpoint, rather than just trashing the video. Like when you watch the first 3 or 4 minutes, it's like whatever. But when you get 5-6 minutes in, it really starts to take hold where everything's really put together.
Yeah, but the rape was a little much. Just a heart attack.
You think so? You think the rape might have been a little much? Like logically, the only part that is them exaggerating is when they say how they died, right? That's the part that's not really necessary for the theory. You know, it just seems like they're kind of just trying to give a little drama there with giving a really crazy death, but like, you didn't have to rape the chick for this to be Purgatory. But it would be kind of creepy if that show was really just about them in Purgatory. And as funny as the title is, and as cheeky as it is, you know, like, don't ruin your childhood, but like, it kind of does ruin the show when you think about every episode. Like, you're not gonna forget about that when you watch it.
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's right.
It's gonna be in your head, actually, where every time you watch an episode.
But they do got to come up with like something creepy. I think that's why they go that level of far.
Yeah,
you know, they want it to be over the top.
Right, yeah. If some like plain Jane conspiracy theory, what's the point of even doing it? I guess. But that's actually not a bad one. We have some more. We're doing more conspiracy theories. I'm having people send me their favorite conspiracy theories. I'm gonna do a 9/11 conspiracy theory. That's gonna be a fun one. So join me for that. And keep it mild in the comment section, I'll say the least. But yeah, so talk to John Gasm, man. He did a pretty good job with that. And thank you guys for joining me for this vid. I'll see you, man. Peace.